Hi guys. So happy to have you guys. Today is, what's today's day here? The 12th. Long day for me. So excited to have you guys here. I love all the new faces. We just had a new coach call that was so fun. So if you guys ever have new coaches added to the team, we're going to be doing that every other Tuesday. So once they watch it once, they don't have to be on again. They're not new anymore. Hopefully they'll be adding people to that new coach call, Eventually I'm going to be asking you guys to help me run them because you're a boss. So does anybody have any rank advancements? I have one. Super excited about it. I have Liz Hughes. She's going to be Emerald on Thursday. She's a boss. You guys should look at her Facebook. She lost a bunch of weight. She's an awesome transformation in a short amount of time, and just wanting to go straight from challenger to helping people. My husband said I had to tell you hi. Hi! Oh, sorry. I just realized I was private. Cool. Any other rank advancements? If you don't want to say it out loud, you guys can chat in the box always. Did you guys see me in the Beach Party Champions today? Oh my God, I'm so glad it's over. It's just a great feeling. We can actually be like, you know what? I did a good job. It's a good feeling. It takes practice. All right, now we have an awesome guest speaker. We've been waiting for her. Let me just make sure I say her stats right. God damn. So she's actually, I found her because I work really closely now with Ashley Fell Dyson. She been on the call? Hello, is she here? I hope so. That'd suck.
I'm here.
Thank God. Thanks. Oh my God. Hi. So she's one of Ashley's coaches, and Ashley was just telling me all about her. And then Cassie from your team was telling me all about you. I'm like, who is this girl? So I started creeping you. You're amazing. She's been a coach only for 6 months. 3-star diamond. This took me forever to do. So I cannot wait to hear from you. Organizational. Can't even talk. Leader. That's higher than me. What? So, retired teacher, full-time coach as of a couple days ago, number 15 in the network. I can't even talk. I am so glad I'm not speaking on this call tonight. You have no idea. So go ahead. You can just start sharing whatever you want. Just unmute yourself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I basically feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Oh, you're so cute.
So I'm just gonna go a little bit into my story. So I am Kate, and I live in California. I moved out to California about almost 2 years ago now. I'm from a super small town in Colorado, and by small I mean 13 blocks wide, and my stepdad is the mayor by default because no one else wanted to run. And so moving out to California was a huge step he was my boyfriend then, he's my fiance now. We moved right after college, and when we moved out here with just me having a job. And so I had my first job as a teacher, and it was in the projects of East LA. And so just by hearing that, you guys are probably like, oh God. And that's how I was too. But I was pretty naive to what that actually meant, I guess. I thought that the projects were only in movies, and I was from a one-horse town with one stoplight. And so when I came out here, I was super excited. I was really enthusiastic about teaching. I thought that I would be able to rock the hour and a half commute one way. And so I was commuting an hour and a half one way to a job in the projects, teaching first grade with 36 first graders from 7 to 4. And it was hard. Curtis was trying to get into the police academy. He's a deputy sheriff for Orange County. And so at the time he couldn't have a job because he was trying to get into the academy. And so we were living off of just my teaching salary, which a first year teacher teaching salary in California is not great. And it was I was burned out by month 3. So around like November, I started to develop like severe panic attacks, and I had always had panic attacks throughout high school and college, but it wasn't like severe to the point where I couldn't function. Like it was so debilitating. And I always get like choked up when I talk about it. So it was in February, so it was like a year and a couple months ago. I went to the doctor, and it was just like a checkup. It wasn't anything like serious. I just needed to go for like an annual. And she had told me that I had gained 15 pounds. And from student teaching the year before, I had already gained 15 then. So I was at the point where I was now 30 pounds overweight. And I never really noticed. Like I never saw myself gaining weight. I think a lot of times we all feel that way, where we never remember gaining the weight. We just remember looking in the mirror one day and being like, what the heck happened? And so that day my doctor told me, you know, you've gained another 15 pounds. You need to lose about 25 in order to be healthy. And I just told her, like, I'm trying, which I wasn't, but I wanted to be trying, but I didn't know how to try. I had a gym membership, but I didn't go. I didn't know how to eat healthy because we couldn't afford to eat hardly ever. And I just was so stressed out from my job and from Curtis not having one yet, that I was just absolutely depressed. And it was that day that I walked out of the doctor's office and I took the patient summary form. And usually those things I just like throw in the trash, or they get stuffed in between the seat and my console of my car. But for some reason that day I looked at it and it said, find a new job and take care of yourself. And so like 2 weeks later, I was scrolling Instagram and I was on the Explore page looking for Fitspiration, and I found my coach Ashley's transformation picture. And I just liked it. I didn't comment on it. I didn't follow her. I didn't even look at her page. All I did was like the picture and move on. The next day she sent me an invite to her challenge group, and I signed up that day. Like I was like, I kind of hesitated, but then I was like, I mean, I have to do something. Like everything else isn't working. So I jumped in. I rocked 21 Day Fix. This was a year ago, almost exactly. I rocked 21 Day Fix, and then I quit. And I quit, totally fell off the bandwagon for 8 months. I let every excuse in the book that you probably will hear or have heard from your challengers and your clients too. I'm too busy. I don't have enough money for Shakeology. I am not seeing any progress. I blah, 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 blah. All BS. I could have made it happen if I wanted to. At this point, Curtis was in the academy and I was trying to find a new job, which I ended up doing. It wasn't much better. It was in South LA, so closer to Compton. And so still a really rough area and still an hour commute. But Ashley stayed my friend for those 8 months. She, even on days where I would text her and be like, oh, I'm trying a personal trainer, or I'm going to go to this like boot camp gym, or like all this stuff. Like Ashley was never pushy and like, no, you need to do Beachbody, or she wouldn't just like ignore me. She was always supportive and was always like, I'm really glad you're trying to find something that's going to work for you. And that's probably one of the reasons why we got so close. Like she's actually a bridesmaid in my wedding. So when I say Ashley and I are like best friends, I absolutely mean it. But she always dropped hints like, you know, you would be a really good coach if you just jumped back in. And I was always like, no, that's really great for you guys, but it's not my thing. And it wasn't until I got engaged last October that I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, I am in the same damn place I was 8 months ago. Nothing has changed. Yes, I had found a new job, and for like a month I felt happier, but as soon as like that October downward spiral of teaching, it happens to everyone every single year, I started to spiral back into my anxiety, where I was crying every single day driving to work, crying in the parking lot trying to drive home, but couldn't like get myself to even be able to drive home because it wasn't safe. Having to pull over on the side of the freeway to just breathe. And it was a Friday. It was December 1st. So like 6.5 months ago, where I looked around my classroom at lunch and it was empty. And I just thought to myself, this is it. Like, this is going to be my life for the next 40 years. And I just wasn't okay with that. I wasn't okay with not feeling confident. I was always an athlete. I was always around athletes. My undergrad degree is in sports medicine. So I was always around college athletes. I was a dancer growing up. And so not doing anything was not only hurting my physical health, but my mental health, like to the extreme. And so I knew that something had to change. And I knew that nothing would change unless I went all in. So I texted Ashley that day. My dogs sound like they're going to rip someone's head off. I promise they're fine. But I texted Ashley that day and I said, okay, tell me about this coaching thing and don't BS me. Like, tell me, is it actually legit? Like, do you actually make money? And I should have known she did. I mean, she retired from teaching, but I was so skeptical. And she gave me all the details, all the ins and outs, and I talked to Curtis about it and I signed up that night. And I have not taken my foot off the gas pedal since. And so basically what I want to tell you guys tonight are just a couple things of when people ask me, like, why do you think you were successful so fast? It took me a while to actually think of like anything to say, because my answer was always, I'm just doing the things that they're telling me to do. I'm just doing the things that Ashley is telling me to do, or I'm just doing the vitals. And that's true, but I think it's such a mindset, and you guys hear this all the time, but you have to get out of your damn head. And so for me, there's really like 5 things that helped me even when I was so incredibly busy. Like, I've built this entire business being a full-time teacher, planning a wedding. I have 2 puppies, and they're not easy. An hour commute one way. I was the middle school basketball coach, so I was coaching basketball for the last 6 months, and then just trying to balance Curtis and I's opposite schedules and like actually be able to see each other. I am busy. I was incredibly busy, but I didn't need anything more on my plate. But coaching wasn't that to me. Coaching was this outlet that I knew would give me the freedom eventually that I wouldn't have to worry about all those other things. And so even though I was the busiest I had ever been in the last 6 months, I have been the happiest and the most fulfilled that I have ever been in my entire life. And when you get to that place and you find something that makes you so incredibly happy, it doesn't matter that you don't sleep. Like, I was up at 4:00 in the morning to get my workout in. 80-day obsession changed my life. I lost 15 pounds in 2 pant sizes. Now with 2B Mindset, I'm down 25 in 3 pant sizes. So 80-day obsession literally was what like kicked it all off for me. And I would wake up at 4:00 in the morning to get my workout in, and I was doing all my stuff all day. And then I'd come home and I work my business for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it took that night. So basically the 5 things that I can think of when I say like, this is how I hit the ground running and this is how I haven't stopped. I do the vitals every single day. And you guys hear this all the freaking time, but maybe this is the time that it actually clicks with you. All 4 vitals every single day. So many times I see with my coaches, they're like, yeah, I'm doing the vitals. I'm like, okay, what PD are you reading? They're like, oh, like I listen to a podcast once in a while. I'm like, no, PD is one of the vitals. You need to do it every single day. It doesn't even matter if it's like 15 minutes. Maybe you have a devotional that you wake up and you do 1 page of a journal, devotional or whatever in the morning. It takes you like 5 minutes. Maybe it's listening to an audiobook on your commute to work. That's what I did for the last 6 months. I listened to an hour to work, and I got to treat myself with jamming out to tunes on the way home because that was like my reward for listening to PD. Invites. When I asked my coaches, like, okay, no, you're not hitting Success Club. How many invites are you sending? Oh, I'm sending like 10 or 20. Like, okay, eventually that might drive your business forward. But when I send 10 invites, most of the time, none of them will sign up. 20 invites, I might have one person respond, and it's probably a no. If I decide to 10x that and I send 60, I'll probably get 7 people responding and like 3 people to sign up. So it's a numbers game. You have to think of like, you have to talk to more people in order for people to respond to you. And the way I go into my invites, I know sometimes it's like, oh, well, if I'm just like talking to all these people, like, don't you feel spammy, or like, don't you feel like awkward, or I'm scared to send an invite? And that's how I was in the beginning. But once you realize that you have a freaking gift to offer people, that you could literally save someone's life with that invite. Ashley completely saved my life with that invite. I have no idea where I would be without her. Even though I fell off the wagon for so long, if she would have never planted that seed, I probably wouldn't even know Beachbody existed. When you go into an invite thinking that you have this gift to give people and it could save their life, invites don't feel so yucky anymore. So I saw something about 60 invites Monday through Friday. When I was doing I did 62 invites. I do 62 because when you look at a notebook, I don't have one with me, but when you look at a notebook, you fold the page in half, there's 31 lines on a notebook page, and in 2 columns makes 62. So on Instagram, I'll send an invite, write down their Instagram handle. Send an invite, write down their Instagram handle. And that's just how I was tracking for so long, because I'm much more of a pen and paper person. I've moved over to email a little bit, but I still randomly will just start using my notebook. And I did that Monday through Friday for a solid amount of time, probably a couple months, until I could really see traction and getting like solid challengers that were staying on track and ending up wanting to help other people as well and converting to coaches. Then I brought it down to like 62 invites, like 4 days a week. So I'm still sending 62 invites 4 days a week, but I've just toned it down a little bit. For a while I stopped and was like, I'm only going to send invites like 2 weeks out of the month. I was trying to follow this like monthly marketing plan, and that was a terrible idea. So you just have to find what works for you. For me, that totally worked for me. So your vitals, you have to do them every single day. Even if you're not sending private message invites, inviting on your story. So talking to your tribe, like literally speaking to them, talking about the boot camp that you're going to run, or talking to the coach about the coach sneak peek and inviting them to it. Adding a poll and having them vote in the poll, or saying, go fill out the link in my bio, or whatever. That's an invite. So even if you're like, I can't, there's days where my anxiety will kick up. Right before I quit my job a couple weeks ago, I had a full-blown panic attack. Couldn't function, bawled my eyes out on my story that night, because I was like, people need to see and be aware that mental health is real. And even when you think this person that you're looking at through a feed is perfect, they're not. And the next day, I invited to my boot camp. I'm like, I can't personally message people today. I don't have it in me, but I can get on my story and film 15 seconds of me saying, I have 10 spots left in my boot camp. If you want to snag a spot, fill out the link in my bio. That's it. So even if that's all you can do that day, then do it. My second tip is lead from the front. So your coaches will always do half of what you do. So my average Success Club points are like 70 a month. Ever since I started as a coach, I've always hit 50 or higher. In March and April, I hit over 100. And so my coaches will always do half of that. So I have coaches on my team that I have one coach that she like runs right there with me. So she's hitting about 100 or right where I'm at. And then all my other coaches are hitting between like 20, not all of them, all my runners, all my leaders, they're hitting between like 20 and 50. So they will always do like a quarter to a half of what you do. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to send 20 invites today, your coaches are probably sending 5 or 10. If you're hitting Success Club 10, your coaches might not even hit Success Club. So you have to think, how can you up your game so that your coaches will do at least half of what you're doing? And I think that comes down to having high expectations for yourself. Like I'm hella competitive with myself. Like, I will put my blinders on and I won't look at anybody else and won't compete with anyone else except myself. And if I don't hit a goal that I have set for myself, like, I have to give myself a major pep talk. So having high expectations for yourself will only trickle down into having your team having high expectations for themselves. I actually asked one of my coaches, like, because I had to do a leadership call yesterday. And in January, if you would have asked me to, like, teach on leadership, I would have been like, I don't know how to be a leader. And so Sydney told me, because you have high expectations for yourself, like, I have to have high expectations for myself, or I feel like I'm going to disappoint you. And I was like, well, I'm not your boss. Like, I don't care if you work your business. It's your business. And she's like, I know. But now I have such high expectations for myself that maybe it's not about disappointing you. It's more about disappointing me. And so having that reflection with her that, like, that high expectation will trickle down, really opened my eyes to that. Number 3, go for no. So like I said, those 62 invites, I'll probably have 7 people respond that they're interested and maybe 3 people sign up. So all those other people, they totally ignore me. And I love when people ignore me, because literally I will go months. I will invite them every single month. If they're still watching my stories and they're still liking my posts, I will send them another invite. It'll sound different because my month will be inviting to a different boot camp. But I've had people where I've literally invited them once every month since December. So I'll scroll up and they have 6 messages from me that they've seen and ignored. And then 1 message that says, hey, I think I'm finally ready to jump in. Can I get more details? And I'm just like, yes, you can get more details. I would have given you more details 6 months ago, but I'll definitely give them to you now. But I think when I think about how long it took me to actually commit, then I have, like, the grace for other people, because not everyone's timing is the same. It's all about divine timing. If I would have jumped in as a coach 8 months prior to when I did, there's no way that I would have been successful. I wasn't in the right place. I wasn't committed to my own journey. So I know that everybody's timing is different. And I have seen so many of my coaches have told me no, like, 3 times, and now they're like diamonds. Or I've had coaches that have literally told me, I almost blocked you because I was like, oh my gosh, please stop sending me messages. And then I decided, why would I block her? All she's doing is trying to share this opportunity that changed her life. And then they sign up as a coach. So I feel like if you think you're annoying someone because they haven't responded to your messages, if they're still watching your shit, then they're not annoyed by you. If they're annoyed, they're going to unfollow you or they're going to block you. Like, that's just, it's reality. And I've only had, like, 2 people ever be nasty back. Like, 2 people be like, I don't want to join your Beachbody boot camp, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. Cartwheel emoji. Yeah. And cartwheel out of that situation. But that's such a handful out of the amount of people that I've talked to. So go for no. I get so excited when someone tells me no, because I'm going to totally prove them wrong down the road, and they're going to wish they joined me. Number 4 is set goals that stretch you. So I have this right here, and it says goals are meant to stretch you. And that's something that it's like my mantra for the year. It's basically like, I'm going to set goals that make me want to throw up. And if they don't make me want to throw up, then they're not big enough. I set a goal in March. It was by the end of March, I need to be a 2-star diamond, like, in qualification. And I had so I'm going to back it up. So December 1st, Ashley told me, you need to hit emerald by the end of the month. You need to hit diamond by February. And I wanted to throw up. I didn't even understand what those terms meant, but they sounded like a big deal. And I was like, there's no way I can do that. But I wrote them down anyways. And I knew, because I doubted myself, I needed to work that much harder to hit them. I hit emerald in a week and diamond in 3. So because you set goals that stretch you, I feel like you work that much harder because you don't want to miss them. So I was a diamond in January, and I was like, I want to be 2-star by the end of March. Like, that's going to be my goal. And I missed it by a landslide. I think I had just finished qualification for 1-star. So I missed it. And instead of being, like, discouraged or you're a failure or whatever the old Kate would have told herself, I just said, okay, I'm going to be a 2-star by the end of April. And I just set it for the next month. And by the end of April, I had hit 2-star and I was in qualification for 3. Then I was like, okay, by Summit, I'm going to be in qualification for 5. And I just set these big goals that I'm like, I really don't even think this is going to happen. But if I don't push myself, then I'm never going to know what my potential is. And so going into Summit with a week away, I'm still not in qualification for 5, but there's still how many days left? Like literally 7 days left. And I'm not going to change the goal until it's Wednesday at midnight and I'm not in qualification. Then I'm going to say, okay, by the end of June, I'm going to be in it. So set goals that stretch you, that even make you want to throw up, or goals that people are going to doubt you. So I've also, in the beginning, I set my goal to be, I wanted to be top 200 Premier. And I told a corporate rep that, and she kind of looked at me like, you're a baby coach. Like, that's probably not going to happen. And I was like, no, I'm going to be top 200 Premier. It's going to happen. And last month we hit Premier and we're number 15 in the network. And so setting goals that stretch you and proving people wrong, like my theme for the year has been watch me. So I love when people tell me like, oh, you're probably not going to be able to do that. I'm like, okay, watch me. And I just feed off of that, like that doubt. Like, even if it's self-doubt, like even if it's my mean girl telling me like, you're not going to hit that, I feed off of that. I'm like, yes, I am. Watch me do it. And then number 5 is from day one, I've had belief. I've had belief in the products. I've had belief in this business, and I've had belief in myself. And you guys all are coaches. You're all on here. So clearly you have belief in the products. Clearly you have belief that this business works. But check yourself and see, do you have belief that it will work for you? Do you believe that you can accomplish the things that Haley's accomplished, the things that whatever top coach you admire accomplished? Do you believe that you can do that? Because if you don't, then you need to start faking it. And so when I say that, I mean like start talking about where you're going. Start putting it out into the universe, not where you are now, but where are you going? And one thing that I think helped me a lot, just keep the vision even when things got hard and things weren't working out. I always talked like, yeah, I'm building this 6-figure business. I was making like $500 a month. And I was like, yeah, I'm building a 6-figure business. Building a 6-figure business. I always talked about I'm building a 6-figure business at my kitchen table. Or today I'm building a 6-figure business after 12 hours of working full time. Or I just kept talking about it. And soon enough, it became a reality. If you want to be successful, you have to believe that you can be successful. If you don't believe it, we need to start faking it. You need to start pretending that you are the most successful coach in the company, and it will just start to feel and it'll start to help you act and treat your business like a business. If you don't believe that you're going to be successful, your business is never going to be treated like a business, ever. I built this office, little corner thing in my spare bedroom when I was sick of working at my kitchen table. And I said, if I want to treat this like a business, I need to give myself an office. So this is my office, spare bedroom, gym, dog room. I
have the same one. Same thing, exactly.
Exactly. So you have to treat it like a business. You have to believe that this is a business. You have to believe that you will be successful in order to obtain success. Does that make sense? The chat is freaking blowing up. So I want to take questions, but
me first. I had a question. I wanted to know, like, you know how you always are inviting over and over and over again, no matter what?
Yeah.
I know you obviously change the script up a little bit, but what like is one example of one of those, if you don't mind?
Okay. So I always keep my first message like super cash because that's how I talk. And I tried messages where I was like giving more detail about what a boot camp entails, and those just didn't get traction for me. So basically, like, okay, so my invite for Lift 4 has been like, hey girl, thanks so much for following me in my health and fitness journey. Your love and support means the world to me. I just wanted to pop in and see if you wanted to get more information on this like VIP boot camp that I'm starting to run. Is it something you'd be into? Like, that's even maybe a little bit long. Like, I usually keep it very short. If it's a non-specific program boot camp, I'll say like, hey girl, enrollment for my June boot camp is open. I know May and April were super busy, and I don't know if you ever saw my messages, but I wanted to check in and see if you wanted a snag spot. And so a lot of times just saying like boot camp or challenge group or whatever you call it, it sparks interest enough that they'll message you back, or at least they're going to keep watching. So I don't try to give them too much information right off the bat because I don't want to scare them away. And also I know a lot of people ask me this question all the time, so I'm just going to answer it right now. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, do you connect to something on their page? Like, do you go to their page and say like, oh, cute dog, like what kind of breed is it or whatever? I don't, because that's never worked for me. I've tried, and I think the people I attract are very similar to me, which is good. But for me, if someone were to come into my page and say like, oh my gosh, like I love your dogs, what kind of breed is it? And then I'm like talking to them and they're still asking questions, I'd be like, okay, what do you want?
Yeah, that's true. I'm like that too. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So for me, I have seen like my people will be like, well, what do you want? Like, get to the point. And so for me, my invites, I build my relationships through my stories. Like, I feel like if people are watching my stories every single day, they know the type of person I am because I'm super authentic on my stories. And so I don't feel like I need to like form this relationship with them first in order to send them an invite. For me, that feels fake because I'm not like that. Whereas like other people, like they have to form a relationship first or else it feels spammy. And that totally works for those coaches. But for me, it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. You gotta do what works for you. That's awesome. I think I'm gonna switch to that. I basically do, so I always tell everybody in my team, like, if they're inside of my business, which is Instagram, like I can invite them,
Yeah,
they're
totally.
inside of your business.
Exactly. And if you're inviting only people that are like liking your posts or following or watching your stories, then like they know who you are. Like they've been watching.
That's so true. Anybody, I mean, there's a lot of, I don't even know if there's a lot of questions or not. Hold on.
There is. I have a question.
What's up, girl?
Okay, so I'm curious what Ashley said, like if there's anything specific about the business when she was telling you about coaching or when you reached out and said, okay, tell me about coaching. Is it a scam? I'm curious if there's anything like specific that made you change your mind or belief around that. And then that's my first question.
To be honest, I think I had my mind made up before I texted her.
Okay.
I think I kind of already knew, like, basically what I was thinking in my mind that day was like, I need something to make me feel more fulfilled. And for a couple of weeks I had been looking into like going back to school, maybe getting my degree in counseling and all this stuff. And then like one day I had this epiphany, like I could just be a Beachbody coach. Like then I could do all these things that I'm saying I'm going to go back to school for, but I could do it and like be healthy. So I think I kind of already had my mind made up, but I needed to hear her say, you're going to be good at it. And like almost like validate me, because at that point, being 30 pounds overweight and being so unfulfilled and burned out, I like had so much self-doubt. And so when she was like, she told me all the details and she was like, you would be really good at it. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. And she had said that for months, but for some reason that day it just clicked and I was like, okay, I'm in, let's sign me up.
Nice. And then I think somebody else asked this in the chat box, like your 62 invites a day when you first started, are you just finding them from your stories and your likes? Like, do you have enough people that you can invite 62? And then for girls like me and maybe others that don't have 62 people that they could, or like a high number of people from their likes and their Instagram story, do you have like a suggestion of how do we up our numbers and find those people to get high invites?
Yeah, so when I started coaching, I had like 800 followers, like nothing crazy. I had a decent amount because this is like really weird when I say it out loud, but teachers have like a teacher Instagram community, and it's like kind of weird and bizarre, but I wanted to be like this teacher grammar. So I had like 800 teachers that followed me. All I had posted was like selfies, or like my cute teacher desk. So I had like a decent amount then, And so when I first started, it was like 30 invites a day because like you don't have enough people watching your stuff in order to do that. And I also was in my warm market constantly in the beginning. And that was really scary to me because, again, I'm from a super small town where everyone is super judgy. And so warm market was scary, but I was like, if I want to get to diamond, I need to get my warm market on board. So I sent like 30, but the way I grew my Instagram, so I'm at like almost 6,000 followers now, which is crazy in 6 months. But what I did to grow it is I use the app Captivate, and I go to, say you go to a page that you like. So say that you love The Bachelor and you want to find other people that love The Bachelor. So you have something in common. So chances are you might have other things in common. So go to Chris Harrison, who's the host of The Bachelor, and go to his followers. So you go to Chris Harrison, go to his followers. Those people are all people that love The Bachelor. So then you go and you follow people that love The Bachelor. So what I did was like every single day before bed, like you're already going to be on your phone anyways, you might as well just go follow X amount of people. They'll follow you back. In a couple days, go through and unfollow people that didn't follow you back because if they didn't follow you back, they're not going to be your target market. You don't need to see their stuff on your page. But I only invite from people that watch my stories, like my posts, or follow me. So sometimes I will tap into, like I'll go to my followers because there are people that follow me that don't see my content. Like I have almost 6,000 followers and only like 2,000 views on my stories every day. So there's obviously people that aren't seeing my content. So I go and I'll send invites to those people. And then I'll just type like a random letter like K and go through and invite everyone that has K as the first letter of their name. And then that also helps with Instagram algorithm where it pushes your content into the front of their feed because you sent them a message. So social media is meant to be social, so they want you sending messages. So if you send a message to someone that's not seeing your content, it's going to start popping up on their page, even if they ignore you. So I only invite from those. I don't do invites from people that don't follow me. If they don't follow me, they don't know what I'm about, and that feels too spammy. But that's how I built my network. And then once I realized, like, okay, I'm having a couple hundred people watch my stories every day, I can up my invite game.
Oh, amazing. Genius. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions?
I have a question. So for your, you said that you use like paper and pen, and I think you said you're like trying to switch over to email right now. Do you do kind of the same tracking method that Ashley does, like where she circles the name of anybody that messages her back?
Yep, it's exactly Ashley's system.
Okay.
So it'll be, literally just had a notebook and I don't know where it went. But yeah, I'll fill it out and then I'll circle anybody that messages me back, like circle their number. And then if they already have a coach, I'll completely X them out because like I'm not going to follow up with them. They already have a coach. And then if they are interested, I'll put like a check mark over the circle. And then if they sign up, I highlight them. And so like sometimes it's hard to like kind of keep track of like who's all actually signing up or who are you sending links to, paper and pen, because you might not always have your notebook with you or you can't always like pull out your notebook. But at least you're tracking it somehow. So now I've moved over to like fill out the link in my bio or send me your email. And I use Google Streak through Gmail and it's been like a game changer. But I still do use paper and pen. I just use like a color coding system and it's been working well.
Yeah, you guys, so Ashley made like an awesome video on the Beachbody Champions page. It's still up in the like first scroll or two, about inviting to a challenge, like exactly that process to keep track and stuff and inviting to a challenge group. It's like amazing. So check that out for sure. Cool. Anybody else?
Your stories. I just was reading that comment. No, I don't put location tags unless I'm like somewhere cool and I actually tag the location. I tried that too in the beginning. So here's the thing. I tried everything in the beginning that everyone was trying to tell me. And when you try to like, it was like throwing like spaghetti at a wall and trying to see if it stuck. And so I think trying things is really good, but knowing that it might not work for you. So people are like, put location tags in your Instagram stories, you're going to get more views. And I was like, this is such a waste of time. Like it wasn't fun to me and it was taking the fun out of posting my stories. And so I just stopped and it was fine. I didn't die. Like, it was okay. So, like, the things that I'm telling you tonight, they might not work for you, and that's okay. There's going to be other coaches that do things that are going to work really well for you. But try it and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then you just have to adjust.
2 more questions. How do you invite to the coaching opportunity?
I suck at this. So I don't really invite the coaching opportunity. This is something that I'm trying to grow on, but I basically run Coach Think Peaks, and I'll talk about my Coach Think Peak all the time on my Instagram if it's like coming up. Like Ashley and I are running Coach Think Peak next week, so tomorrow I'm going to do my first call to action for that. I'll do an Instagram story talking about it, put a poll. I'll send an invite to everyone that votes in the poll. Everyone that liked my coaching post, I'll probably send them a message. And then I'll just have people add themselves to the group. All of my coaches have either been challengers first, and I saw them rocking their journey. So I said, people deserve to see that passion. You could help so many people. Have you ever thought about coaching? Literally what I say. If people have fallen off the wagon in my challenge groups, I'll say, I could never commit to my own journey until I was a coach. True. And so if you ever want more accountability, I think coaching has provided so much for that. And you could also cover the cost of your Shakeology. And then everybody else has just come to me. Like, they've seen me talk about it enough. I talk about coaching all the time. I talk about how much it's changed my life. I talk about how I didn't have to have a panic attack going to buy dog food because I could actually afford it that day. And I do breadcrumbs all the time. So I feel like when people come to me, they like already kind of know they want more information. They want to be a coach. They just need the details about it. So I don't really invite to coaching. I just do invites to Coach Think Peaks, and then I invite for my challenge groups. Everybody else, I've had both of my diamonds, or 2 of my diamonds. They both told me no multiple times to my challenge groups. And then one day they came to me and said, okay, I want to join a challenge group and I want to be a coach. So like, those people were kind of the diamonds in the rough. But the other ones, they all came out of my challenge groups or Coach Think Peaks.
Awesome. So, hold on. When you give coaching details. Oh wait, Kyla said something. So, do you not worry about people that are your tribe, or is everyone fair game?
Everyone that follows me is fair game.
So, do you just say like, hey girl, I see you watching my stories. I just needed to ask, like, whatever. Are you interested?
Yeah, basically.
Just like in your own words, basically.
Yeah, I'm just like, I see you creeping.
Yeah.
Time to, like, today my call to action for my boot camp was, what would happen if you just said enough was enough? Like, what would happen if you just said yes? And I've already had multiple people fill out the link in my bio because, like, so often I call people out all the time, like, whether it's on my stories, like, because I had all those objections too. And so I'm like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to call you out. And hopefully, like, this time you're like, okay, she's right. I'm going to fill out the damn link in her bio.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I'll do that on, like, messages too. Like, if someone messages me off my story and they've ignored me like 4 times, and then they're like, oh, cute hat, where'd you get it from? I'm like, yeah, you're still watching. So I'll say, like, oh, I got it from Target. It was like $10. By the way, did you see my last message? So it's a super nice segue. And a lot of times they're like, yeah, I did. I'm just like this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I see you.
That's like the best. You just like say it how it is, basically.
Yeah.
Like, did you see it? Or, I mean, I see it right now.
It's right there. It's been there.
Cool. I mean, if you want to answer any more, but I know it's kind of getting late. So,
I want to answer this one. What do you think that sets you apart from most other coaches? I think, like, for me, I'm never going to be the most glamorous coach in the world. Like, I'm literally not wearing any makeup. My hair is in a ponytail. I'm sweating. It's 91 degrees in here, and I'm literally dying of a sweat. You can't tell. Or maybe you can. Maybe I'm super shiny.
I can't tell.
But, like, I won't ever be the most glamorous coach in the world. I won't ever be, like, the prettiest girl in the room. I'll never be those things, but I will outwork every single person in that room, no matter what. If someone tells me that they're going to do 60 invites, I'm going to do 100. If someone tells me they're going to hit Success Club 100, I'm going to hit 102. Like, I will always be the hardest working person in the room. And I think you need to figure out, are you going to be that too? Because that is the one thing that you can control in this business is how hard you work.
There you go. Wow. Thank you. So that is a mic drop. Thank you. This is honestly, I really never say this, like, this is the best call we've ever had. So amazing. I think it's just so cool how it happened so quickly. Like, so proud of you. How awesome do you feel?
Good, especially because your team call you did for Ashley for Team Elevate, like back in the day, was like the second team call that I ever watched. And I was like, oh my God, I have to follow Haley Christian on Instagram. Like, and then I'm like, holy shit, I'm speaking for Haley Christian's team.
Oh, I remember like when I had to first start speaking for people that I was like looking up to. It was like the scariest thing in the whole entire world.
But I think like once you realize like they're a normal person and you take them off their pedestal, like it's easy.
You literally did like the best job ever. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, that's our Instagram handle right there in the chat. You guys should all follow and give her all the love. Oh, wow. I got to bring it for your team tomorrow, huh?
They're going to love you. They already love you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.